Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. It's me, Miss Sanabat, and today we will learn about plant and animal tissues. So tell me, what is the fundamental unit of life? Or in other words, what is the building block of an organism body? So the answer is cell. Cell make up the body of all living organisms. How many cells do you think an organism need to live? 1, 2, hundreds? Well, that depends on the organism we are talking about. An organism like amoeba is made up of single cell. Just one single cell constitutes the body of an amoeba. This cell carries out all the function of this organism body like respiration, digestion, locomotion and excretion. So what about a cat or dog? Do they have a single cell? Of course not. They have many cells which make up their entire body. There are group of cells which carry out different function, and each cluster of cell is called a tissue, and each tissue carry out a specific function. Such organisms with many tissues are called multicellular organism. For example, humans, animals and plants are come in the category of multicellular organism. Now the plant tissue are divided into two types, dividing tissue and the non-dividing tissue. Dividing tissue also known as meristematic tissue and non-dividing tissue also known as permanent tissue. Let's first talk about the meristematic tissue. Meristematic cells are smaller in size with comparatively thin walls and a nucleus in the center. The main function of this tissue is to divide and help the plant grow. They are present on the growing parts of a plant like root and shoot tips. So when meristematic tissue have divided and reached the final stage of division, they attain maturity. After this point, these tissues don't divide anymore. They only get differentiated in different parts. And these non-dividing tissue, they become permanent tissue. So basically, when tissue grow and divide, they are called meristematic tissue, and when they finally mature and divide no more, they become permanent tissue. So permanent tissue are nothing but mature meristematic tissue. There are mainly two types of permanent tissue. They are simple tissue and complex tissue. Let's first talk about the simple tissue in detail. The word simple means they have a very simple structure. All the cells of simple permanent tissue are almost the same. There are three subtypes of simple tissue. They are parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Parenchyma consists of thin-walled living cells. These cells have intercellular spaces and they are present in all the soft parts of the plant like in the pulp of fruit and endosperm of many seeds. The function of parenchyma is to store the food. Second is collenchyma. It consists of elongated cells with the corners filled with cellulose and pectin. It present in the stem and leaf stalk of dicot plants, and the function of collenchyma is to provide structural support and help plant stay standing. The third is sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma consists of very long, narrow, thick-walled cell. When sclerenchyma cell fully mature, they die, and once they are dead, they simply maintain the structure of the plant. They are found in xylem and the hard fruit coats. Before moving ahead to complex tissue, let's first discuss about the tissue system present within a plant and each serve important function for the plant. So if we start from outside the plant, the first tissue system you would encounter is called the epidermal tissue. So it is a single layer of cell covering almost the entire plant body. We human need a layer of skin to protect our internal organ. So plant also require and possess a protective covering throughout their body, which refers to epidermis. Since they forming a protective layer, it is obvious that they do not possess intercellular spaces. Also, cells are very flat in appearance and possess a thicker outer cell wall. So tell me, if the whole plant body is covered with epidermis, then how does the gaseous exchange along with the water vapor occur? Think about it. Well, the epidermis leaves some spaces, or you can say pores, which we commonly call stomata, a small opening present in the leaf or stem. These pores are guarded by the guard cell. Stomata help in exchange of gases, carbon dioxide and oxygen, along with water vapor in and out of the plant cell. The second system is the ground tissue system. The major cell of the ground tissue are parenchyma cell, and their function is photosynthesis and nutrient storage. And the third system is the supporting tissue system. This tissue system provides support and rigidity to the plant and is present in various shapes. Supporting tissue is composed of sclerenchyma and collenchyma cells. Now let's talk about the second type of permanent tissue is the complex tissue, and complex tissue are mainly of two types, xylem and phloem. Complex tissue consists of vascular bundle system that take up the responsibility of transportation. So for transporting water and minerals in upward direction from soil to the leaves, we have the xylem. And xylem is made up of two major components, sclerenchyma vessels and fiber. Similarly, for the transport of food from leaves to various parts of the plant, we have the phloem to help the plant. It is also made up of living cell, that is sieve tubes. So xylem and phloem together form vascular bundle in the stem, while they remain separate from each other in the roots. So this was all about plant tissue. Let us take a look at various type of animal tissue in detail. We have divided all the animal tissue into four major categories depending upon their function. We have the one for protection, another for connection, followed by movement and locomotion, and lastly for transmission of signals for quick and efficient work. Based on this, we get the four major type of tissues used as epithelial, connective, muscular, and nervous. Let's begin with the first type of epithelial tissue. As the name says, epi is above. So epithelial tissue is the one which lies above the entire body, forming a protective covering. Along with the covering, it also forms a barrier between the various organs, separating them. Now the structure of epithelial tissue. The cells of epithelial tissue are tightly packed, forming a continuous sheath. The second type of animal tissue is the connective tissue, and as the name says, it provides support and connect all the internal organs in a tight package. It is composed of ground substance. Ground means a gel-like substance, cells and fibers. Connective tissue is divided into three main categories: soft, hard, and the fluid connective tissue. The fatty tissue are the example of soft type. Cartilage and bone are the example of hard tissue. And blood is also a special type of fluid connective tissue with cells suspended in a fluid medium. And the function of the blood is to transport materials in the body. The third type is the muscular tissue. As the name suggests, it means made up of muscles. The muscles help us in movement and locomotion. Just imagine what happens if our lungs stop contraction or relaxation. Well, that would cost us our life. So the muscular tissue is formed of muscle fiber. Each muscle fiber is an elongated cell which has the ability to contract and relax. These tissues are responsible for the movement of the body and body parts. The fourth animal tissue is the nervous tissue. The nervous tissue is responsible for receiving, sending and processing sensory information. These tissues are formed of cells called neurons or nerve cells. The nervous system is made up of brain, spinal cord and the nerves. So when these tissues like epithelial tissue, muscular tissue, connective tissue and nervous tissue, they combine, they form an organ. And when many organs combine, they form an organ system. And after the organ system, an organism is formed. In the previous videos, I have told you that an organism is divided into two categories, unicellular organism or multicellular organism. In this video, we will talk about the unicellular organism, which are made up of single cell, for example, amoeba. So, what is an amoeba? Amoeba is a unicellular aquatic organism found in stagnant water, pools, and ponds. It is microscopic in size. It does not possess a permanent shape and keeps on changing its morphology. Let's see the internal structure of the amoeba. Amoeba is irregular in shape, so you can make it easily. Amoeba is surrounded by a protective covering called cell membrane. So this is the cell membrane. Okay. The cytoplasm is divided into two parts, ectoplasm and the endoplasm. So you can make it like this. Okay. The outer portion, which is clear and transparent, is called the ectoplasm. This is the outer portion, ectoplasm, and this is the inner portion, endoplasm. And this one is the endoplasm. So the inner viscous and granular part is called the endoplasm. The endoplasm contains many food vacuoles of different size. So these are the food vacuoles. A contractile vacuole and a nucleus. The nucleus is usually found in the center, but as the amoeba moves, the nucleus changes its position. The contractile vacuole functions to remove excess water from the body, and the food vacuoles contain the food particles. The amoeba moves by forming finger-like projection called the pseudopodia. As you can see, these two look like the fingers. So these finger-like projections are called pseudopodia. Pseudo means false and podia means feet. So why we are saying false? Because these feet are not permanent. It only forms when the amoeba wants to move. If the amoeba wants to move here, for example, okay, the cytoplasm start moving in this direction, and in the result, false finger-like projections are formed. As you can see in this video that the cytoplasm is moving and forming a finger-like projection called pseudopodia. The pseudopodia are also used to capture the food particle by the process of endocytosis. The endocytosis word is not new for you. The food particle, like for example this is the food particle. This food particle will enter into the amoeba by the process of endocytosis. The membrane enfold and form a bubble-like food vacuole. This food vacuole will enter into the cytoplasm. The digestion of food will take place in the food vacuole, and after the digestion, the food is diffused into the cytoplasm and provide to all parts of the amoeba. Amoeba breathe or respire using this cell membrane. Oxygen from the water passes into the amoeba through the cell membrane, and the carbon dioxide gas leaves through it. So this is how amoeba respire, by exchange gases, carbon dioxide and oxygen, with the surrounding water through its surface. Now your home task is you have to write in detail the structure and function of plant tissue with diagram. In the next video we'll talk about multicellular organism. Till then, Allah Hafiz.